So maybe you just bought a new property and are waiting a couple months to move in. Or maybe you bought a new investment property and are still finding the right tenant to move in next month. So is your property considered vacant? This can be a confusing subject, and which is why in today's video, we're going to be covering what a vacant dwelling is, if your home is considered vacant under certain circumstances, and other commonly asked questions like, is your home considered vacant if it's under renovation or construction? Vacant dwelling is a term used to describe a residence when the occupants have left the home with no intention of returning. This is different from an unoccupied dwelling, a term that relates to a temporary leave of absence, such as a vacation. So enough with these insurance terms. When is a property considered vacant? Well, imagine a vacant house. You're probably thinking of something that's old, spooky, and haunted, where the floorboards are about to break through. But from an insurance standpoint, it's important to remember that even a brand new home can be considered vacant. For instance, if you buy a home but don't move in right away, or if your rental property is untenanted while you look for that new renter, the property is considered a vacant dwelling. And here's the bad news. Insuring a vacant dwelling presents more challenges than insuring a primary residence, as there's more risks involved. Insurance providers may not include certain coverages such as glass breakage, vandalism, or even water damage. And if your home is vacant for more than 30 days, you generally have no coverage at all unless you've properly informed your insurance provider and they accept this risk. So in cases like these, there is usually an increased premium, and some providers may even require you to pay a monthly vacancy permit fee. So now that I shared the bad news, here's the good news. Square One offers excellent coverage for vacant homes. Water damage is excluded, but glass and vandalism coverage remains, with only a slight increase in deductibles. So now that you know how to protect your vacant home with insurance, here are some tips to help you prevent losses from occurring in the first place if your home is vacant. So the number one tip here is to make sure your home looks occupied. This includes keeping the lawn trimmed and picking up any debris in the yard, and picking up your mail once in a while so it doesn't pile up. If you're unable to do these things, ask a neighbor or friend to check on your property once a week. Also consider installing a timer on your lights so they turn on and off with the daylight. And lastly, make sure all windows and doors are locked, and you can even consider installing a security system to help you monitor your home remotely. Homes under construction or renovation usually fall under their own category of insurance and are not considered vacant dwellings. So any changes you make to your home fall under the two categories. The first category is renovations, and the second category is construction. Smaller additions, like installing a new bathroom or updating your countertops in your kitchen, is considered a renovation. During the work, you can often keep living at home, and your insurance provider may just make a note on the file and continue coverage as normal. Once the work is complete, you may actually see a decrease in the premiums if the renovations include replacing things like old wiring, plumbing, or roofing. Larger jobs, when the home is rebuilt from the foundation up, is considered construction. This is almost the same as building a completely new home. You can't usually live in the property during this construction, as there'll be people coming in and out, like contractors and managers. And so if you're planning any changes to your home, it's really important to contact your home insurance provider to ensure your property is covered throughout the process. They'll make sure you have the right coverage and make note of any value changes that you're making so your home is insured for the correct amount. The last thing you want is to make an upgrade that isn't covered down the road. This could result in a slight increase in premiums, but if you fail to take this action and suffer a loss, you could end up paying for your renovations twice, as they won't be covered. Well, all reputable contractors will ensure that workers' compensation programs are adhered to. In the event that someone is injured while working on your home, these programs should respond to the claim. However, if the limit of insurance isn't high enough, it's possible that you might find yourself facing a lawsuit. So make sure you have a suitable limit of premises liability. While most people see the location of their possessions as an indication to whether the property is vacant or not, the definition of a vacant home has to do more with you than your belongings. If you don't plan on returning, the home is considered vacant, regardless of whether or not your furnishings are moved in. Well, like we discussed earlier, any type of home can be considered vacant at any time. It just depends how you use the property. Say you purchase a new property as an investment, but for whatever reason, you don't want to rent it out. If you have no intention of moving into the property, it could be considered vacant. Vacation homes are a little harder to categorize. Let's say you own a beach house, and chances are in the summer, you and your family will be in and out of the property. Each time you leave, you'll have a clear intention to return. But come fall, you may be done for the season. And in this instance, we would consider this property a second home or a vacation home, where the intent is to return, so it's not considered vacant. However, if you don't visit the property at all during the off-season, your second home may be considered vacant during this period. So if you have more questions about insuring a vacant property, head over to squareoneinsurance.com and you can get an online insurance quote for your home. Or you can check out some of the other homeowner resources here. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.